Okay, so talked about fast not necessarily being for beginners, but here's some advanced techniques that can really put some pips in the bank on a really easy basis. So, I talk about fast shouldn't be traded standalone. It's best when used as a confirming indicator for something else, a pitchfork, a scan, a teacup, a bounce back. But there are plenty of opportunities for pips with fast outside of that. And this is intermediate to advanced work, and it's with trend lines. And so there's some special situations with fast that take advantage of that, and part of the way it was constructed to ensure this would be viable and available. Considering it's a combo indicator, you got to remember some of those waves plots have 4 components, some have 8, some have 12, depending on what time frame you're on and what time frame plot you're actually looking at. But we can take a look at that for, again, intermediate to advanced traders to make some simple stuff. Now, in terms of trend lines, you have to understand impulsivity. You have to understand the current direction of the time period you're on. You want to trade in that direction. Okay. Those are the ground rules. As always, third hit is tradable on a trend line. So you want to be flexible with your drawing. Get trend every time you have 2 highs, 2 lows. Draw your trend line and see if it eventually connects. Sometimes you just have a series of 2 highs and 2 lows connected all over the place, and you never get the third hit. But I'm telling you, as many of my harmonic wave convergence traders will tell you, that there's ample opportunity to jump on the charts any time period, as long as the channels are wide enough. 10 pip channels you kind of like to see, but you can snarf up easy pips burst trading with trend lines and fast. So these are advanced techniques, and I'll show you both examples of how you can use trend lines here. So the first one here is just a downward move, and so we have a trend line on the top. This would be considered a sell opportunity. And here's the interesting things about trend lines for good pips. So what you want to notice is that there's a couple opportunities there for trend lines, but as I've drawn it, um, you can see some things happening, and that is this: as we go from, especially this point here to our second hit. There's our second hit. So here's our initiation point. There's our actual second hit. Here's a series of third hits. Here's a fourth and fifth and whatever, sixth hit. Bunch of everything's coming up to it. Um, you can track that in the indicator field as well, and you'll notice something with these hits. So as we generally move in this direction, as we move from left to right, and draw it at the top a little better. Okay, we have each of these highs in the price field getting lower, and in the 15-minute wave, we have the waves getting higher. So that is divergence. So those of you that understand divergence, when divergence persists, you're going to have big moves. Okay. Now this might have been a trade for something else. I'm not going to call it a trade here because right now I'm just talking about trend lines. So it might have been a trade for something else. But with trend lines, we have a very special condition with the fast plot, and that is this. So first of all, in this case, for those of you that pick it up, this is divergence. Okay, these are, that's a divergent move, and that's a divergent move. But we can't take that trade because it's not really a hit. We can't. That's not close enough to call it a hit. So our second hit on that trend line is here. This becomes tradable anywhere in here. Okay. With fast, all you need to see is the indicator turning around going the other way. So at the time price is leaving this, we actually get a bend going in the other direction. Okay? That's all you need to see. It doesn't have to be at an extreme, and you don't have to wait for the red bar on a candle close, which means if I have a trend line and I see a big pull off of it, for my second hit and I hitting it the third time and it starts to pull back, what I'm generally doing is 2 pips of pullback and I'm in that trade. 2 pips of pullback and I'm in the trade. As my partner used to say, in there like swimwear. Right? In there like swimwear. North Carolina boy. So divergence and you don't need divergence, but it's nice to spot it because it generally means a strong move. And you don't need the plot indicator to be at an extreme. It can happen mid-channel as long as it's turning around going the other way, and you don't have to wait for the trend bars. So it's true trend line trading. You're just ensuring that the wave really is turning around. So that's where fast comes into play. Now, where you get the benefit of fast and that turnaround, why you want to see that turnaround happening is because as you look at this chart, we can see 89.60, 89.65. So 5 pip channels, 5 pip price scale channels for the grids. So 5 pips. So I can come in here and draw a line on my chart. Oops. Essentially like that, and that becomes my stop loss. I could trade that ESL, MSL. I don't need 10 pip stop loss on a 5 pip scale when price is that conforming. So I can actually put my 2% into a 5 pip stop loss in that kind of trade. Now I'm on a 5-minute chart here. Now normally what you're going to do is treat fast the rest of the way. So if I'd entered on these trades and I come down to here and it starts turning around going the other way, see, to me trendline trading is milking the market. I come down, I hook, I get my green bar pretty fast, probably right in here. I'm out of the trade. But not bad. 5 and 4 and maybe 1 or 2, subtract 1 or 2 to get in, so about 7 to 9 pips. Come up, I hit the trend line again. Now remember, I could stay in that thing as long as I want. We got 5 pip, or I could just watch the lines and see what happens. So red bar starts pulling back 2 pips. I'm in the trade. It starts heading back up. You'll notice that it heads up right here on that blue candle with the wick. We got just a little bit of a hook here. But no green bars, no threat. I got my stop loss up here. It comes back up, it tags the trend line again. More red, don't need it, but I'm down there. I'm going. Now I'm trading the 5 pip, the 5-minute wave, and it's moving down. And what am I looking for? Hookbacks and a green bar. Don't see the hookback. See the hookback, but no green bar. Write it. Is that the bottom? Look where that is. Up in here. Is that the bottom? Nope. Let it come down more. Comes down. Now I get my green bars out of the trade. There's a great trade for a 4th hit on a trend line. Easy pickings. So about 7 to 9 in here. We have 5, 10, 15, 20. Comes down to 25, but it pulls back up several. So let's just call it 20 minus the spread, So maybe 7 and 20, 27 pips. It's a 5-minute chart. $27 pips, 2% into a 5 pip stop loss. $25 pips would be 5 units of 2, 10%. Couple pips left over. 10%, two easy trend line trades. Trend lines are all over the place. They are God's gift. The beautiful thing with FAST is you use them to manage yourself out of the trade. And here we have the hook back with the bar turning against us. We exit the trade. On getting in the trade, we don't need FAST to be at an extreme, and we don't need a trend bar. It's just like you were trading a regular trend line. You do want to see the wave flip over. That gives you the assurance this thing isn't going to just go up higher and then flip over. So you can be in there pretty tight with its stop loss. So one other thing, and this is pretty powerful, and again, I constructed FAST to do this, and in fact manipulated one of those four formulas, some, to allow this opportunity without distorting everything else. And that is, you can actually draw and trade trend lines off the indicator where there aren't trend line trades normally in the price field. So this is pretty powerful, as long as you're in the right direction. So you can see the trend is up. I've got a trend line on the bottom. We buy bottoms. We don't sell bottoms. So, trend line moving up. You can see there's not a true trend line in here that's going to give me 3 hits anywhere. But this third hit down here, right here, is your trade. Again, you don't need the green bar. It's added confidence if you get it, but you don't need it as long as I get that third hit and it starts hooking back up. See, that candle's going to have to close. That red candle has to close. You're only going to get the hook back on the next candle moving the opposite direction. 2 pips, I'm in there like swimwear. 3, 5, 5. When do I turn around? Get to extreme. Don't need to wait for the red because these are stealing. This is robbing candy from a baby. Don't let major erosion get you, and don't worry about this thing continuing. You just pulled off 20, almost 20 pips, 15, 18 pips. Put that in the bank and go. 2% to a 10 pip stop loss, 15 pips. You just made a quick 3%. I mean quick. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, 3% on your account. Banks don't pay that you in a year. Anything related to trading income, you have to go to www.tradingdisclaimers.com. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Should use surplus money only when trading. Seek the advice of a licensed professional financial counselor, etc., etc. www.tradingdisclaimers.com. So 2 advanced ways of trading with FAST. The traditional trend lines, but look for your hookbacks. Exit on hookbacks at time period. And here you can actually put the indicator in, and as you start looking at this stuff consistently, you'll find trend lines all over the place that you can draw. And they're great trades. The indicator doesn't lie. Great trades. All right, there's some advanced easy pips for you with FAST.